Hey, everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Have you tried to quit drinking more times than you can count, only to find yourself back at square one? Well, before you give up entirely and believe something is wrong with you, let's uncover 3 hidden obstacles that can catch you off guard and keep you stuck. These are early challenges that no one else is talking about, but could be the game changer you need to finally break free for good. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. If you have ever felt completely overwhelmed by the journey to quit drinking, like there are 1,000 things to figure out all at once, or it feels like a freaking game of Whac-a-Mole with new bad habits popping up to replace the old ones, you are not alone, and you're definitely in the right place. In this episode, I'm breaking down 3 surprising traps that no one talks about when it comes to quitting drinking. These sneaky little obstacles can easily keep you stuck and frustrated and questioning your progress. And today we're going to get into what they are and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Thing number 1, and this is what I see more than anything on the planet, right? You start worrying about advanced topics when you're at a beginner level. And let me break this down a little bit. I want you to think about recovery as a timeline, stepping stones. And let's say there are 20 steps along the timeline. When you step into sobriety and you quit drinking, you're on step 1. And you have to focus on step 1, irritations, frustrations, questions, and actions. You can't worry about stepping stone 4 or 5 or 12. You have to stay at stepping stone 1. And when you are super early in sobriety, for sure your first 30 days, you only need to be focused on the absolute basics. And this is hard because we have a disease of more. We always want more, right? But in your first 30 days, your focus should be on not drinking alcohol, period. No matter what, you're not drinking a ton of water, getting good sleep and eating, avoiding your triggers at all costs, feeling as safe as you possibly can, and implementing various tools to calm your anxiety and discomfort. That's all. And again, it's hard because we have a brain that wants to do more. And you will start to feel better. You look better. Your energy starts to come back and you'll naturally want to start taking on more things, doing more things, going more places. You'll want to challenge yourself and go to parties or meet your drinking friends at the bar. You will want to do more, but don't fall for it. Okay, a lot of those things I just mentioned, those are advanced stepping stones too. Doing more things, going more places, meeting your drinking friends at the bar. Those are way advanced stepping stones. You're at 1, pal. You don't need to be worrying about doing those things. That's like step 5, 6, 7. You don't need to worry about doing those things. Stay on step number 1. Don't fall for it. I want you to make a commitment to yourself that you will only focus on the basics for 30 days. No pushing the limits. No adding more activities, just nourish your brain and body with food, sleep, and water, feel safe, and manage your anxiety and discomfort. That's all you have to do. And the absolute most important thing you can do in that 30 days is honor your commitment. This is about starting to practice some self-control. Managing your emotions as they come up, talking yourself through that, and using your tools so that you are in control and your alcoholic brain isn't in control anymore. When you start to feel bored with the basics and you want to do more, you have to work through that. You have to process through that. Talk to another alcoholic about it, journal about it. Understand the urge to do more and still stay on target, honoring your commitment to the basics only. This is self-regulation, and it's one of the most important life skills you will ever develop. And if you want to stay sober, you have to build your self-regulation muscles. Your inability to regulate your emotions and work through them is what leads you back to a drink every single time. So you can see why it's so important to work on this from day one. When you are standing on that very first stepping stone, I want you to focus on first stepping stone issues. Identify your immediate triggers and remove them. Nourish your body and brain with food, water, and sleep. Manage your anxiety and discomforts. And you might be missing your real triggers or not knowing exactly what to do to manage your triggers the right way. And this is where it gets hard with a podcast because I don't know you personally in your situation specifically, so I can't give you the exact answers to your exact situation. That's where personalized coaching is so important because we can really dig into your life and I can easily identify the triggers that you don't even see, and I can get you the right tools to move through that. And if that's what you need, if you feel like you're missing something, then book a call with me to see if we're a good fit to work together. And if you're not the right fit for my program, you're not ready for my program, I can at least steer you the right direction. And that addictionunlimited.com/call. That is always linked in the show notes of every episode, addictionunlimited.com/call. So remember, this is a disease of more. You know, our little brains think if one is good, then five must be better. We're wired for more, and we will always want to overdo it, do more, be more, but do not fall for that trap. When you are on stepping stone number one, I want you only focused on stepping stone number one things because you can't move on to 2, 3, 4, 5. You're never going to get to stepping stone 12 if you don't develop the skills you need at 1. These are the foundational skills that you will build the rest of your recovery on. And if you can't even get yourself to stay focused on a handful of things for 30 days, we got to keep working on that. You can't move forward until you have these basic skills. Okay, thing number 2, understand you can only fix so many things at once. You are not going to be able to fix all the things in your first 30 days sober. And there's a hidden misconception in this too. With your broken thinking, you think you have to fix all the things individually. But that's not really how recovery works. You fix your thinking, then all the things start to fix themselves. Okay, but this is an advanced topic. This is not a beginner topic, so we're going to move on from it. We want to stay on track with stepping stone number 1 and understand you cannot fix all the things in the first month. I see this so often, and I see it with guys in my sober living houses. They come in like, well, I got to do this. I got to get back to work right now, and I'm going to get a second job, and I got to work on my relationship, and we're going to start marriage counseling, and like all the things. And it's like, dude, take a breath. If you're acting like you're in a race to the finish line and trying to fix all the things, it's only going to overwhelm you, stress you out, and lead you right back to a drink because you don't have any self-regulation skills. You haven't practiced any coping skills to deal with stress, anxiety, overwhelm, or any other feeling. You see again why it's so important to build the foundation, those basics. You have to get to a point that you have some self-management and self-regulation skills, or you can't deal with fixing any of the things. You have to focus on just fixing yourself right now. Stepping stone number 1 is primarily about just not drinking. You've got to get good at just not drinking. And because we've done some physical damage to our bodies from drinking, right? You want to nourish your body and your brain with food, water, and sleep. That's basic. That's survival skills, right? That's nothing extraordinary. We just usually kind of suck at it. So nourish your body and your brain with food, water, and sleep. And then you've got to start managing your emotions. You have to start utilizing coping skills to bring your anxiety down and manage the discomforts that come up because you've removed your primary coping life mechanism. And that leads me right into number 3. Your brain will naturally look for a distraction in other compulsions, whether that's food, depression, sugar, dating, social media, video games, gambling. Your brain is compulsive by nature. And when you remove its primary coping mechanism, its primary fun mechanism, its primary celebration mechanism, its primary numbing mechanism, when you remove that, the thing it's been focused on for so long, it will naturally start seeking another activity to focus on. The smart way to handle this is to make your recovery your new compulsion. Make your healing your new compulsion. I did a post about this compulsive brain thing on my Instagram not too long ago. And it was about like, how do I know after 18 plus years sober, right? I'll be 19 in January. How do I know after this many years without a drink? How do I know I still can't drink? And it's because I'm compulsive. I'm compulsive in everything. I can get unhealthy with anything on the planet. I want more. If one feels good, 5 is going to feel better. And I see that compulsion in all my behaviors in every area of my life. So why the fuck would I think that I'm magically not going to drink compulsively again? It doesn't make any sense. Of course I can't drink. I am compulsive by nature and it shows up in every area of my life. So if you really want to get a handle on this and have some fun in your recovery, make your recovery your new compulsion. Instead of sitting around and romanticizing drinking and obsessing about all the things you're missing out on, romanticize your future. Romanticize what your life could look like. Romanticize the person you could be, the relationship you could have. Maybe you could get a new job because you fucking hate the one you have. And when you're in your clear mind and you have some confidence and some self-regulation and self-management skills, you could actually get a job you like. Romanticize your future instead of romanticizing your past. Embrace it 1,000%. You embraced your drinking 1,000%. So why the fuck wouldn't you embrace your recovery 1,000%? You see, these are the little mind games that our brains play on us. We love to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves and get sad about this great life that we're going to have to give up and fear missing out and we're going to be different and how's everybody going to act about this and are they going to like me anymore? What's this going to look like? Right? You want to obsess about all of that stuff and make yourself miserable. But let me tell you something. If that life was so great, you wouldn't fucking be here right now listening to me. It wasn't that great. Is there a lot of fear in facing a whole new life where everything is going to be different? Hell yes. There's a lot of fear in that, and that's okay. But don't romanticize your past and your drinking that really wasn't all that romantic. Romanticize your future, who you can become, the life you can have and create, and the type of parent you could be to your kids in a sober state of mind. Imagine the partner you could be. Imagine how active you could be with your family and your kids' school activities and your health and all the things, right? Romanticize that. We are unlimited in what we are capable of. That's why this podcast is called Addiction Unlimited. There are no limits in who you can be and the life you can create. We are the strongest people ever built. You can have whatever you want. Romanticize that. And understand as your brain is looking for distraction in other compulsions, which is primarily going to be food, sugar, and probably social media, right? Those are really going to be the big ones. I don't want you stressing too much about it. And that's why it's on this list, because people will start getting real freaked out. Like, oh, I'm eating sugar and I'm overeating this and I'm gaining weight. And you know what? I get that. And that is really uncomfortable. I would urge you to really focus on those self-regulation skills, working through those emotions and understanding them, because you can't stress yourself out in trying to quit too many things at once. This is why we say don't make any major changes in your first year sober. You really have to be hyper-focused on just not drinking and getting comfortable just not drinking. Period. And that's what those foundational skills are, right? It's about just not drinking. And then you have to get comfortable, which means you have to remove your triggers and avoid them at all costs, right? And then you have to start managing your feelings, your anxiety, and all the discomfort that's going to surface because everything you're doing is new and different. Those are your foundational skills. And that's all you need to be focused on. So don't freak out about all this stuff. Like I quit smoking cigarettes at the very end of my first year. Like I wanted to quit my whole first year, but I waited because I didn't want to overstress myself because I knew I didn't have any coping skills. If I started to feel really overwhelmed, splitting my attention between not drinking and not smoking, I'm not going to do either one of those things well. Right? Instead of having 50-50 split, 50% alcohol, 50% smoking, I wanted to be 100% quitting alcohol. That's what I wanted my focus to be on. And then to stay quit, you have to start feeling okay. You have to be able to deal with your feelings and emotions. Otherwise, you won't stay quit. That's why those are the foundational skills. And that's all I want you to think about. So don't stress out if you start doing other things. Be mindful of it, right? Have some awareness and maybe start working on, I could make a better decision. I could eat a piece of fruit instead of eating the gummy bears, whatever the thing is. Be mindful, but I don't want you splitting your energy by trying to focus on too many things. I want your energy to be 1,000% in just not drinking and getting okay with that and getting comfortable just not drinking. You can address the other things later. Because listen, like I said, I can be compulsive with anything. I can get unhealthy with anything. So I will always be in some journey of managing something. Like I'll get really good at food for a little while and maybe it'll be a couple of years and I'll be good at that. And then all of a sudden I fall off with food and it's like, oh shit, here we go. Now I got to get back on the food and get that in control. And it could be a million other things. For work, for me, it's work a lot, right? I'm definitely a workaholic and I can get super compulsive and unbalanced with that. And it takes a toll on my health and it takes a toll on my mental health. So then I'll have to get my shit together and focus on that and get back to being more balanced and having downtime and rest time and shut down the computer and phone time, right? So you are always in a journey of managing things. There is no finish line. It's another huge misconception. People think that when you're healing from anything, whether it's a divorce or a surgery or recovery, whatever it is, when you're healing, there is no finish line. People think that you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to AA and I'm going to work the 12 steps and then I'm healed and I can move on with my life. It doesn't work like that. Life is life and life is going to continue to be life regardless of how many steps you work, right? There is no finish line. Also, life presents different challenges at different times, which then presents different issues that we have and different deficits and things that we need to work on. There is no finish line. So don't get mad when you don't get to rest on your laurels at some point, right? Life is challenging and it's going to continue to throw you challenges. So don't think that you do X, Y, Z and then you're finished. There's no finish. You just keep working on yourself and you get really good at it and you get really comfortable with it and then you're thriving. So just stay focused on your first 30-day things, right? When you are on stepping stone number 1, just focus solely on stepping stone number 1 issues. And then when you get to 2, we can worry about 2. And if you want my support in that, addictionunlimited.com/call, linked in the show notes. As you start to recognize these hidden obstacles, okay, remember you are not alone in this. And there is nothing wrong with you. Quitting drinking is a journey, and understanding the early challenges is a powerful step to get where you want to go. Give yourself some grace as you navigate this. It takes practice. You're not going to knock it out of the park from day one. You're not supposed to. Just focus on regulating yourself. Get back on track and keep working on it. You definitely won't get better or stronger if you stop trying. Giving up is not an option, okay? And as always, reach out. Stay connected with our community. We have our Facebook community. That's also linked in the show notes. And we also have my private member community, the Sober Society. You can get in there and go to meetings with us in there if you want. Know that you have all the support you need to make this journey your own and do it how it works for you. You've got this, and I'm here every step of the way. I love you guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.